The story begins with our protagonist heading towards the bank holding 2 trash bags. Then someone on the phone tells our protagonist that they heard they sold their house to start a business, and they wonder if that's true. That person then insults our protagonists by saying that, with that brain of his, starting a business is simply adding GDP to their society. Our protagonist responds that he just wants to succeed once. This infuriates the other guy on the phone, as he asks our protagonist if he has ever succeeded at anything since he was a kid, ultimately saying that he's nothing but a complete loser. He adds that he should give up on this fantasy as soon as possible, calling him a disaster to everyone around him and telling him not to contact him anymore. We learn that our protagonist's name is Shu Zhengyang, and he looks sad as the phone call ends. He then recalls how unfortunate he's been ever since he was a kid. Every time he shot a slingshot, he would hit himself. Every time he skipped school to go online, he would get caught. His college entrance exam results were so bad that even the worst school in the country rejected him. Our protagonist is so dumb that even this kid got accepted.
I got accepted?
He even failed to close a single deal after entering the workforce. Our protagonist is either very unlucky, an idiot, or cursed by the god of misfortune. As he's standing in line while holding 2 bags, he thinks that he craves success so much that even winning once in his life would be just enough for him. The bank teller calls his number and tells him to proceed to window 3 for service, but our boy remains still, thinking that the money he has for buying a house is his only hope. Suddenly, a system window opens in front of him, telling him that the new world has been loaded, global prices have been reduced by 1 million times, and that only his total assets remain unchanged. The system displays that his total assets of over 2 million yuan have been deposited into the system. Our boy looks at the system in confusion, trying to understand what it's saying. He then thinks that maybe he's been so desperate for success that he's hallucinating. The Venezuelans told themselves the same thing every year as their currency continued to depreciate. Our boy hands over the bag to the teller, thinking that he'll deposit the money first and then go home to sleep, so he tells the woman that he would like to deposit some spare change. The woman is annoyed, thinking that it's pouring outside and she just wants to go home early. She looks at the bag, thinking it's probably a tiny amount of money and probably in coins, so counting them will take forever. She then wonders why she always runs into these brokies.
You're broke! You're fucking poor!
But as she opens the bag, she's shocked at the large amount of money in it. This gold digger does a complete 180 after she realizes that our boy is him, so she calls him Handsome Sir, asking how much he would like to deposit. Our boy says $8,000 yuan, but the useless woman tells him that his transaction could not be processed here, so she'll contact the main branch for him. She tells him to please wait a moment as a dedicated vehicle will arrive shortly. The woman cannot believe the behavior of our boy, stuffing 8,000 yuan in a plastic bag and calling it spare change. She wonders if rich people really act this casually. Our boy tells her that talking to others while handling transactions is inappropriate, so he warns her to be careful or he will file a complaint against her. Suddenly, a limousine arrives, and an older man greets our boy, calling him a VIP and telling him to please step into the car. Meanwhile, a SWAT team protects our boy from more gold-digging whores. Our boy looks surprised, and then multiple limousines are seen. Someone says that the VIP has been escorted into the car, so they should prepare to depart. Once inside with the SWAT team, our boy looks nervous, saying that he was just venting and that he won't file a complaint. He wonders what's going on and if this is all really necessary since he was just depositing 8,000 yuan. The car then passes by a poor man speaking on the phone with his mom, saying that his bonus this month is at least 5 fen, which is equivalent to 0.05 yuan. He then tells his mom that he'll send her 4 fen later. Our boy cannot believe what he's looking at and hearing. 10 boxes of milk for 1 how? A 5 fen bonus? He then comes to a realization that maybe the system he saw earlier wasn't a hallucination. The old man introduces himself as Chen Hao Hai, the manager of Guangming Bank's main branch in Santai City. Our boy thinks all of this is a bit absurd, and then compliments the manager's suit, asking him how much it cost him to have it tailored. Chen Hao Hai is one of Santai City's top capitalists, and our boy recalls that he was kicked out by security the last time he visited the main branch simply for glancing at the lobby photos. Our boy smiles, thinking that maybe Hao Hai will help him if he butters him up a little. Hao Hai smiles, saying that his suit is not a particularly high-end material, so it only cost him 2 fen. Our boy thinks that this old man just told him a joke.
Some good shit though. Okay, so the average salary is what, like $100,000?
Our boy then realizes that aside from his 2 million plus yuan, it really does seem like global prices have dropped, and if it's really true that prices dropped by 1 million times, then his current assets should be worth so much. Yes, brother, that is what the system told you. Now use some of that money to order yourself a new brain from Amazon. Our boy then pulls out a bill from his bag, wondering what changes this new world has brought to currency. He touches the bill, thinking that the texture feels much thicker and the material much sturdier than before, and that it doesn't tear as easily. He then wonders what's inside, so he tears the bill in half. The bank manager is shocked at the sight, wondering if rich people really have such a unique hobby, as those were limited edition banknotes only available to people with certain assets. Don't worry, Mr. Manager, we'll make that brain delivery one-day shipping just for our boy. The manager informs our boy that they've arrived at the main branch. Then a woman greets him saying her name is Lin Yurong and that she'll be handling his deposit today. Guys, her name is Yurong, so I may be wrong, but this girl may also be looking for gold. Our boy thanks her and hands over the bag, and she tells him that she'll process it immediately. Our boy smiles, thinking that the girl has a nice figure and face. The girl then begins processing the money. Our boy begins to suspect something. First, they personally picked him up, then they assigned a beauty like her to handle his transaction. Usually, wouldn't they try to persuade him to opt for a fixed-term deposit? He wonders why it is so quiet. He looks at the manager with suspicion and wonders why this old fox hasn't said a word yet. Perhaps the manager is planning to complete this transaction first and then make an adjustment later. As Yurong is seen walking over with a cup of tea in her hand, our protagonist looks at his phone and wonders if the deposit is done already. His phone then notifies him in speaker mode that his bank's savings card has received a deposit of 8,168 yuan and that his current account balance is over 664,000 yuan. Shocked at the amount heard, Yurong drops the tea and both she and the branch manager's bodies tense up as they look at the boy with a forced smile. His phone continues by stating that to prevent him from overspending, the remaining 1.5 million yuan has been deposited into the system bank as a demand deposit. With an annual interest rate of 10%, approximately 12,000 yuan will be credited monthly to his bank account. Our boy looks dissatisfied, saying, "That's it? Just this much?" But both the girl and the manager look shocked, thinking about the 664,000 yuan, wondering if the boy even knows that the richest person in Huaxia only has 380,000 yuan in assets, and that our boy's reaction was saying just this much? Is he even a normal human? What kind of top-level tycoon is this, they wonder. Both of them quickly bow to our boy, offering their cards to him. The manager hopes that the boy will accept his invitation to dinner, while the woman tells him that if he ever needs her help with anything in the future, he shouldn't hesitate to let her know. Our boy could text this woman at 3 a.m. in the morning with the words, "You up?" and she will respond to him immediately. Our boy accepts their cards, telling them to carry on and that he's leaving now. After our boy leaves, the manager looks very happy, saying that it's amazing that such a wealthy tycoon is handling their transactions here, and that he will have a great story to tell at the National Bank Managers Conference. While the mother of Gooners thinks that our boy is so rich, so approachable and handsome, she wonders what kind of woman could match him. Our boy arrives at the Yunhai Fitness Club. Here he thinks about how the bank's manager Hao Hai went through all that trouble just to hear his account balance notification, and that the old fox is probably eyeing his entire fortune now. He wonders what the manager is planning, but then he thinks that he'll just deal with it as it comes, as there's no point in overthinking this. He begins to do some stretches while saying that it's time to work out a bit, and then grab a meal with her buddy Cheng Baola. A girl then approaches him, asking if he's here to mooch off the class again. The cute girl turns out to be Cheng Baola, and our boy gives her a thumbs up, and so do I if I'm being honest. The girl then gets angry with our boy and kicks him, asking if it looks good and if he wants to lie in bed and look at her forever. Honestly, this doesn't sound so bad. Cheng Baola then lets out a deep breath, facing a corner as if she were in kindergarten detention. Our boy asks her what was wrong, wondering if something happened. She then vents out her anger on him, explaining that it's because of work, as yesterday they gave a new order to this female dog, Jiang Lily. She got a full 800 in commission, and just like that, her commission is gone. Our boy seems to have his hands full with all these women chasing money, but at least this one seems more decent, as she's working a respectable job for it. He tells her that he's not used to the workplace's unspoken rules, so being excluded is normal. He then asks her what's up with her personality. She can't really accept all those twists and turns. Our boy then thinks that he's here lecturing others, but he hasn't even accomplished anything himself. Our boy then tries rizzing her up, telling her to calm down and asking what she thinks about him buying her course to help her reach the top of the sales chart. Our boy also thinks he will succeed due to the devaluation system. She laughs it off, thinking that was a good joke for a brokey, and telling him to first go get his hair done, and then they can talk. Our boy stares at the curves in front of him as he thinks that last time his business failed, and when he was about to jump off the bridge, it was Cheng Baola who saved him. She even allowed him to stay in one of her other bedrooms, and now that he has the ability to do so, he must help her out. In other words, he's trying to get out of the friend zone. They then arrive at a clothing store, and our boy tells Baola that he thought she was going home. Why did she bring him here? She tells him that she has to attend a gathering in a few days, so she came here to rent a dress. Once inside, the saleswoman compliments Baola, telling her that her figure is amazing, and that many of their dresses would look great on her, so she wonders what style she prefers. Our boy takes a look around and is amazed by the clothes, thinking that they look expensive. He thinks that Baola is even going so far as to rent an expensive dress, so she must value this gathering a lot. Then someone suddenly calls out to Baola, wondering if it's really her. Our boy and Baola quickly turn around to see who it is, and it's a purple-haired woman whose name is Songjia, and the fatty next to her is Sun Pangzi. Songjia confirms it's actually Baola and asks her what brings her here. Baola's expression turns serious as she calls out Songjia's name. Jia introduces Baola to the fatty, telling him that she knows Baola from her college days and that Baola was known as the campus goddess. She also tells him that back then, Baola turned down countless wealthy young masters. Isn't she impressive? The fatty then creepily smiles at Baola, thinking that she's not bad, so she will be his next one. Then the camera angle improves for my culture men watching this, and Jia tells Baola that she heard she came here to rent clothes and wonders if this is for Yaya's birthday party. She then belittles Baola and tells her not to pretend like she's not short on money, and asks her what's wrong with wearing ordinary clothes. Besides, she's naturally beautiful anyway. She then warns her to be careful, as the tag might show, and then starts laughing. This triggers Baola, but before she could say something back, our boy takes this chance to try and get out of the friend zone and steps in, saying that it's true that Baola is naturally beautiful, much better than some people who are plain and mean-spirited, all while staring right at Songjia. This triggers Jia, and she calls our boy a poor kid from the mountain. Isn't he supposed to be herding sheep today? What gives him the right to speak here? She then asks Baola if our boy is perhaps her boyfriend. She then accuses Baola of loving to put on airs, wondering when she started to pick up trash. Or is it that she herself is trash? Baola just gives her a mean look, so Jia continues speaking. She tells Baola that she's here to buy clothes, so those who rent clothes should wait outside. She then laughs, telling her to get lost. Guys, I bet it's that walking ATM next to her that would be paying for those clothes and not her. The walking ATM then tosses the leech aside and looks at Baola, wondering if she's really Jia's friend. The walking ATM then wonders how Jia can talk like that. He's rich enough to buy Baola a dress without any issues. He tells her that if she sees anything she likes, he will buy it for her. He adds that she shouldn't worry, as he keeps his promises. After all, she needs to attend a party in a few days, so it would not be good to lose face, right? Then the leech latches back on to the walking ATM, telling him no, he had promised to buy clothes only for her, so she disagrees with what he's saying. She calls him darling, saying that Baola doesn't know his taste, and that he should let her pick 2 pieces, and then they'll leave. Fatty tells Jia that Baola is her friend from school, so if he's buying clothes for Jia, he should do so for Baola as well. But Jia disagrees with him. Meanwhile, Baola and our boy just watch them in silence. Baola then grabs our boy's hand, saying that they should forget this and just go, adding that she's disgusted by all this. But our boy pulls her arm back, telling her to wait, which catches Baola by surprise. Our boy then asks the saleswoman if Fatty and the purple-haired woman have bought any clothes yet, but the saleswoman says, not yet. Then our boy says that's good, and that he'll pay for all the clothes in this store. He then points at Fatty and the purple-haired woman, stating that they are not allowed to buy anything. These words shock both Fatty and Jia, but then suddenly, Jia begins to laugh. She then mocks our boy, wondering if this is the set of a domineering CEO drama. She asks him if he even thinks before speaking, and if he even knows how much all of these clothes would cost in total. Our boy smiles and pulls out his wallet, saying that she's right. He really doesn't know how much it will all cost in total. But he then asks if that really matters. He then displays some bills inside his wallet, and Fatty becomes nervous as he counts 5 yen and a 50 yen note, wondering if our boy carries a bank around. Fatty thinks that any of those notes would be worth worshipping at an ancestral hall every day, but our boy puts them in a worn-out bag, and they are even wrinkled. This guy may be a walking ATM, but our boy is a walking bank. Our boy hands over 5 yuan and asks the saleswoman if this is enough to cover all the clothes in her store. The saleswoman is stunned by our boy's riz and tells him that it's actually more than enough. And kids, that's how I met your mother. Fatty and Jia are also stunned. Jia thinks that the money must be fake, and then wonders how Baola could be so lucky. Our boy looks at Baola, calling her poor Baola, and tells her that they should go. He tells her that she should come eat with him, the poor guy. As both our boy and Baola are about to leave, someone calls out to our boy, telling him to please wait a moment. The one who called out to him was a woman with black hair. She introduces herself as Tang Ying, and she tells him that she's the owner of the store. She adds that she just got back from Brother Chen's place, and didn't expect to run into our boy here. Our boy wonders about who this Brother Chen might be, and if it could possibly be Chen Hao Hai, the manager of Guangming Bank's main branch in Santai City. Our boy wonders if that old fox actually sent someone else over after leaving. The owner of the store, Tang Ying, asks our boy if he would honor her with his presence upstairs. Our boy agrees to head upstairs with her, as he thinks that chatting with Tang Ying might not be a bad idea, as he would like to know what tricks she and Chen Haohai are up to. Tang Ying then looks at Fatty and Jia, asking if they are also friends of our boy. The two of them look nervous, but then Fatty responds. He assures her that she's correct and that they are actually good friends with our boy. Fatty is forcing a smile because he thinks that someone wouldn't hit a person who's smiling, so he thinks that our boy shouldn't give him a hard time now. He also believes that if he can get close to Tang Ying, he will secure more than half of Santai City's clothing orders. Gia then confidently clings to Baola's arm, calling Tang Ying boss and telling her that she's exactly right, adding that she's a close friend of our boy's girlfriend and assuring her that they are super tight. Gia then thinks that Baola may act all high and mighty, but she actually snagged herself a rich guy. She also thinks that Baola is still too green, and if Fatty can work with boss Tang, she'll still be ahead of Baola. Tang Ying wonders if Gia and Baola are actually classmates. Baola tries to put an end to this farce, but Gia speaks over her, calling her name and asking Baola why she's getting all shy now. Gia then thinks that Baola shouldn't go acting all virtuous, because they are all the same. Tang Ying gives the order to prepare 5 Supreme 30% off cards and 2 of her business cards. She then observes Baola's behavior and thinks that her relationship with our boy doesn't even seem official. She then thinks that she should build some goodwill with our boy first, as that should make things easier later. Fatty is excited about the Supreme 30% off cards and business cards, and Gia is excited that she may now be able to go to Tang Ying for help, thinking that this is a big step up for her. However, our boy angrily steps in, saying, "Hold on." He tells Tang Ying that if she wants to get acquainted with Fatty and Gia, he won't stop her, but says he doesn't want it to be under his name because he's just a poor guy who doesn't want to know them. He grabs Baola's hand and begins to walk out. He then tells Tang Ying that if she's curious about what happened earlier, she should ask her salesperson. Tang Ying looks confused, as she wonders why our boy lost his temper out of nowhere, as he seemed so considerate and thorough before. The saleswoman then approaches Tang Ying and whispers the events that took place before she arrived. This angers Tang Ying, and she apologizes to our boy, saying she misjudged the situation earlier. Tang Ying thinks that flattering our boy totally backfired. She then points to her men, telling them to throw both Fatty and Gia out of the store, and the men follow her orders. The unlucky suited man grabs Fatty, but the lucky one grabs Gia, and Gia protests, asking them what they are doing, as her boyfriend is one of their business partners. She adds that his family runs Shan Shui Weaving, a major local enterprise and one of their top manufacturers. Oh boy, these men seem to be using the force to pick these people up, as I don't see them using their hands at all. The artist must be a fan of Star Wars. Tang Ying announces that from today onwards, Shan Shui Weaving and all of her brands will cease any cooperation. She tells her saleswoman to notify the other companies of this and to let Shan Shui Weaving handle leaving Santai City on their own. The saleswoman bows, saying she understands. Tang Ying then invites our boy upstairs, telling him that it's peaceful now that the flies are gone. Our boy agrees, and Baola follows along. Tang Ying tells our boy that her girlfriend Baola has a flawless figure and stunning looks. She's truly impeccable. She adds that she has been in the fashion industry for years, both locally and internationally, and that she's never seen anyone as remarkable as Baola. Baola responds that she's flattered. Then our boy tells Tang Ying to help Baola find some outfits that fit her well, and she agrees to do so. Ying claps her hand to call the saleswoman and tells them that they are professionals at styling people. Our boy thinks that Tang Ying is quite skilled, as she knew to focus on Baola right after realizing her mistake. Our boy continues, thinking that Ying thinks Baola is his girlfriend in name only, so if she wins over Baola, his impression of Tang Ying would naturally improve. Our boy also thinks that Tang Ying seems to be a social butterfly and has excellent interpersonal skills, and if Chen Haohai told her about him, it probably means that he's trying to bring her into his scheme. However, our boy thinks that Tang Ying is talented, so he doesn't mind. Instead, he should use her well. Is this guy going to use her to build his own harem? It's now nighttime, and Tang Ying thanks our boy for visiting her store today. She then asks for confirmation if the banquet Baola is attending is in 2 days, as she definitely plans to be there to present her with a grand gift. She then hands over her company's Ultimate Supreme membership card to our boy, claiming that it already has 5 yuan loaded in credit. She adds that besides Tang Na Karon, he can also use it at Hana Menswear and Kagu stores. You sneaky artist, you definitely made this woman bigger. Tang Ying then adds that if our boy chooses to do so, he can also just call her directly. Our boy says he understands. He then waves goodbye as he leaves, and the saleswoman bows to him, telling him to please take care. Our boy then waves and smiles at Baola, asking her what she's daydreaming about. She asks him if all of this is real. He tells her that they need to head back and asks her what she thinks. Baola throws a tantrum, saying he's such a good actor, and that for 7 months, he's been pretending to be poor. She claims that she even paid his water and electricity bills. If I didn't know this guy just got rich, I would have called him trash. Baola says that our boy wouldn't even let her turn on the light at night, and that he reused the water from his foot wash to flush the toilet. How could he fake it that well? She then tells him to spill it, asking him why he kept this from her. Was it fun for him to play the role of a poor prince? Our boy explains that he really didn't have money back then, and that he just recently recovered a few investments, so he got back on track. This fool can't even look her in the eye when he speaks. And I don't blame him. Good job, artist. Paola grabs our boy by the shirt, demanding to know the truth. She asks him if he thinks that she's stupid enough to believe that a few investments are enough to make Tang Ying his subordinate, adding that he's so rich yet he freeloaded at her place, so he must have ulterior motives. But suddenly, Paola's cell phone rings, which saves our boy from further questioning for the moment. She answers her phone wondering what's happening, and then she hears something shocking. The other person on the line is telling her that something is wrong, adding that Xiao Mei is in trouble at Zihua restaurant. This makes Paola panic. Paola rushes out of the taxi and our boy follows right after, telling her to please slow down. Our boy recalls that Xiao Mei is Paola's best friend, and although she has a sharp tongue, she's not a bad person. Therefore, it's understandable that Paola is so anxious. However, he thinks that Paola is great in every way, except that she cares too much about her friends. And with her personality, he bets that Paola would still be happily helping a friend count the money, even if they sold her out. Suddenly, a girl grabs onto Paola, and she's now standing between two girls. Paola asks, "Wasn't Xiao Mei in trouble?" Wondering where she is. The blonde-haired girl responds, "What about Xiao Mei?" They are the ones looking for Paola, and since they are already here, she should come with them. A girl sitting down at the table welcomes Paola, saying they've been looking for her for a while. Her name is Sun Li, and she's Paola's university classmate. Paola asks where Xiao Mei is, wondering if she's in trouble. But Sun Li tells her to stop looking for Xiao Mei, adding that they haven't seen each other for a long time, so they should have a get-together. She then asks if the handsome guy behind her is her boyfriend, pointing at our boy. Paola becomes flustered, but before she can respond, our boy swoops in with a big smile and confirms that he is. He then nicely asks if he can sit there with them, and Sun Li replies that he can. Our boy Xu Zhengyang is then surprised by the quantity of food ordered, thinking that Paola's friends aren't just looking to catch up with her, but that they clearly intend to have Paola pay for all of this. Sun Li then addresses our boy as handsome, saying that he must be rich, given that he was able to win Paola over. Our boy replies that, yeah, he's sort of rich. He asks if they are all full, and he then looks towards Paola, asking her if she would like to go to another place. At the same time, our boy knows that Sun Li is just trying to flatter him, but he doesn't want to waste money on this kind of situation. Sun Li then asks, "Who said they were full? They are just getting started." But with a devious smile, she muses that she won't let Paola and our boy get away, as her goal is to have them end up washing dishes tonight. Otherwise, she'll lose. This girl is not only a gold digger, but also toxic damn viper. Paola tells our boy that she doesn't like Western food, so they should leave. The pink-haired girl mocks her by saying that some country bumpkins can't even eat Western food. And then the short-haired girl asks if she really said that aloud and begins laughing. Our boy snaps his fingers to call the waiter and tells him to bring the menu over, while musing that these girls said they aren't full yet. Both toxic gold diggers look at each other with a smirk, thinking that the bait worked and that this will be interesting. They plan to order a few expensive dishes, hoping that Paola and our boy will end up having to wash dishes here for a year. Sun Li secretly speaks to her cousin on the phone, inviting them to dine with them at the restaurant. She then asks our boy if it's okay for her to call her cousin over, and our boy says it's fine. He adds that if any of their classmates have friends, she should invite them as well. Sun Li replies that he said it, so he shouldn't go back on his word later on in front of Paola. Then everyone arrives and is happily eating. One of them calls out to a person named Li, mentioning that their friend is so generous for inviting them to eat. Another one says that the food at this restaurant is ridiculously expensive, so usually they wouldn't even dare to look at it. You know what's even more expensive? Maintaining these gold diggers. Our boy gets up, telling Paola to wait here as he will pay at the front desk. Sun Li replies to go ahead and grabs Paola by her shoulders, saying that she'll keep an eye on Paola for him. Sun Li muses that our boy won't get away as long as she traps Paola, and that our boy shouldn't get too full of himself for just being a little rich, as she will have him end up here washing dishes. We then see the employees conversing with one another. The woman tells the man that if he heard that those 3 tables with the highest standards were called over just to take advantage of our boy's wealth. The man says that he doesn't think our boy is wealthy, and that he probably doesn't even know the price of the food, and that our boy will be shocked when it comes time to pay the bill. Suddenly, the two of them become tense, as our boy tells them that he's there to pay the bill. The woman nervously tells him that the total for those 3 tables is 1 fen, 3 li, and 200 mao. I have no idea exactly how much that is, but what I do know is that this amount is peanuts for our boy. Our boy pulls out his card and asks for help calculating the total for the entire restaurant, excluding the 3 tables she mentioned. Our boy muses that 1 fen, 3 li equals over 13,000 in the old currency, and that he needs to get used to this new way of counting fast, otherwise he'll have to carry a calculator around. The lady tells him that, excluding the 3 tables, there are 15 more tables being served, and so the total bill comes out to 4 fen, 3 li. Our boy muses that he'd like to see the people in the excluded tables wash dishes here for a year. He then steps forward to pay, saying he'll cover the other table's expenses and that he'll pay 5 yuan, leaving the remaining amount as their tip. He adds that, however, he'll need their help with something later. The workers are shocked at the amount of money our boy is tipping them, and so they bow to him, graciously thanking him. Then, an announcement is made at the restaurant, congratulating the customers dining there, as tonight, the bill has been paid by our boy, Shu Zhengyang. The restaurant will also provide a complimentary dessert, and they hope the customers enjoy their meal. This announcement shocks Baola and the gold diggers. Sun Li can't believe what she heard, wondering if there is a wealthy Shu family in Santai City. The guy with blue hair asks her if Shu Zhengyang is possibly the guy who was sitting with them just a moment ago. But Sun Li ignores him, still shocked from what just happened, thinking that our boy actually paid for everyone's bill, and that must have cost him a lot. She then becomes jealous of Baola, thinking how lucky she must be, as she was able to hook up with a rich guy. Our boy then asks Baola, didn't she say she had something to do later? Baola replies that he's right and that they should go now. Baola muses on how incredible our boy is to have paid for everyone's bill, and that perhaps he didn't save much of his investment. Meanwhile, as both of them leave, Sun Li looks angrily at them, thinking about how jealous she is of Baola hooking up with a rich guy. She also thinks our boy is so handsome and that she would rather be a corpse than feel this way. Geez, calm down, Viper. Sun Li then calls over one of the waiters. She muses that they were the ones who brought Baola here and made her pay, so why should her boyfriend pay for everyone else too? She needs to get that money back. She then proceeds to tell the guy that our boy is her brother, always wasting her money, so she wants him to return the money, adding that just the bill for the 3 tables will do. The man apologizes, saying that our boy already paid, so the money can't be refunded. He adds that the 3 tables she's talking about were not included in the calculation, asking her if she wishes to pay now. Sun Li begins to look nervous. He then tells her that before leaving, our boy left a message for her. What kind of animal looks down on others? He also tells her that if she refuses to pay, they'll have to call the police immediately. Man, are those guys behind him twins? The man continues, saying that her total is 1 fen, 3 li, and 200 mao, and will she be paying with QR code, card, or cash? The scene shifts to Baola and our boy walking together. Baola sighs, saying that the girls will now treat her as their enemy from now on. Our boy wonders if they've treated her as a friend before. Baola ignores the question and throws a playful punch at our boy, asking him if he really enjoys wasting money, adding that he even reserved the whole venue and asking him how much that even cost him. Our boy responds that it wasn't much, simply 5 fen. Suddenly, the price devaluation system appears before him, stating that it has detected the host's spending, which has earned him 5 points. These points can be used to redeem enhancement points, and the redemption function will activate once the host has accumulated 10 points, prompting them to continue spending actively. This message has our boy confused and wondering about the points. Our boy began to wonder if it would be enough to spend 5 cents to unlock the exchange feature, given that it takes 10 points to unlock it, and that every penny spent earns him a point. Suddenly, Baola hits him from behind, claiming that she was starving after what had happened. And seeing how he had been hiding his secret for a long time, she demanded that he cook tonight as a token of apology. Our boy jokes by saying, "Who has ever seen a top-tier tycoon cook?" Baola replies by calling him a top-tier broke tycoon and that he'd better get to cooking. She adds that if he keeps spending like he has, he will really be a top-tier broke tycoon. Suddenly, our boy's phone rings. Our boy was shocked to see that Zhang Yu was contacting him, and seeing how both of them were struggling, he thought he should lend a hand. But as soon as the call was answered, Zhang Yu began to scream through the phone, claiming that he had heard of our boy's situation and that he had a way to help. And so, as the protagonist excused himself from the girl, who understood the situation and said that she would go on and try on her new outfits, Zhang Yu laughs over the phone, complimenting how understanding Bala is, and tells our boy that he will go pick him up. With that, a few moments later, Xu Zhangyan got into his friend's car. Once inside, he asked him if his solution had to do with the solar power project. Zhang Yu laughs and jokes that that's like Wu Daling marrying Kim Kardashian, out of his league. He then confirms that it wasn't, but affirmed that it would still be a big and lucrative gig. So when asked about it, he asked our boy if he was familiar with the internet celebrity Niu Chanchang, who claims to be a martial arts genius, and explained how his crew is planning some kind of live broadcast and is looking for people to take a fall for him. He adds that they simply need to get knocked down on stage, and that they would receive 8 cents for each time he knocked them out during his live broadcast. But just as the young man was about to defend his idea, which was proclaimed ridiculous by his friend, they were suddenly slammed from behind. Our heroes had gotten into an accident. The other driver stormed out of her car and called out to Zhang Yu, claiming he was at fault. So the young man desperately tried to explain how she had rammed into him when he was stopping at the red light. He then began to panic. This woman seemed to hold some power based on the luxurious car she drove, and Zhang Yu thought it was best not to mess with such a person. The woman then yells at him, calling him a peasant. Doesn't he know that he can't just park anywhere in the city? He must think this is his village road. Zhang Yu replies that it was a red light, so he had to stop, and as the rich woman demanded a huge sum in compensation, the broke boy found this to be outrageous. At that moment, our boy affirmed to them that he had alerted the authorities. But just as the Karen began to scream at him, a police officer arrived at the scene. Both sides rushed to explain their side of the story to the man of law, and so he urged both of them to keep quiet. After quickly examining the scene, the officer shocked Blondie by declaring that she was at fault as the other parties stopped at a red light and she rear-ended them. He then asked for her driver's license. The woman became angry, asking how much the young man's car was worth, adding that one piece of her paint costs more than his entire car. Even so, the woman didn't care whose fault it was, and affirmed that the broke boy would have to compensate for the damages. The officer urged her to stop making a fuss and demanded the license once again. But upon seeing that she didn't have it, he asked for her ID, which she also didn't have. The boys were thrilled to see that the lady didn't have any of her identifications. Only then was it noticed that the woman had been driving in high heels. Thus, the officer told her not to move from that spot as he would go get his evidence kit, but the nervous woman asked him to come back. With that, the angered Karen affirmed that she shall take her revenge on the boys, but the boys couldn't care less. And so, the woman called her boyfriend to complain and ask for help. The phone of Xu Zhengyang began to ring, and as he began to wonder about the caller, he was surprised to see that it was none other than Chen Haohai. Upon answering, the old man immediately pointed out to him that he had heard that his girlfriend Bala would be attending a birthday party soon, and wondered if, since Tang Ying was getting her a gift, he should do the same. Our boy affirmed that it won't be necessary, while wondering what the bank manager was planning, seeing how fast he had gotten this intel. Su Zhanyang then asked the man how he had gotten his number, so he revealed how he had some contacts in Santai City. And so upon hearing this, he decided to ask the old man for a favor. This intrigued Chen Haohai, but upon hearing the entire story, he decided to lend a hand immediately. At that moment, the girl heard our boy asking someone on the phone not to let her take the wheel ever again. So she burst out at the two boys and claimed that the two peasants would regret crossing her as soon as her hubby arrived. Zhang Yu began to panic and claimed that they would be better off paying what they owe, yet the protagonist stated that it wouldn't be necessary. Shortly after, a car came rushing to the scene. The blonde rushed to go to her lover. The man was left quite angered, as his girl claimed that the two peasants had harassed her and were close to striking her. With that, the fat one immediately rushed to confront the two boys, claiming that they had a death wish. With that, our boy smirked and then turned around, asking him if he had status or power. Upon seeing our boy's face, the man was left in shock. His tone immediately changed as he claimed this to be their second meeting of the day. Our boy stated that they were destined to meet once again, while thinking about how the man had switched girlfriends from morning till now. The fat one tried to remain calm while wondering why he had to cross our powerful hero. Yet the lady urged him to have the two boys arrested. So he angrily demanded that she explain the situation, and upon hearing the whole story, he got angry and slapped her in the face. The two boys watched in awe as the Karen was getting abused by her boyfriend, who affirmed that she was at fault. With that being said, the man began to wonder if his actions had pleased our boy, thinking that hitting his partner would be better than facing his wrath. And so, despite not knowing who our hero truly is, the fat man offered him money as compensation for the car, as he aimed to become his subordinate, thinking that it would offer him an easier life. Su Zhenjing angrily accepted and declared that they shall leave before them. Fatty was left alert as the supposedly powerful one was still angry at him, yet he hoped to receive his help in order to get Tang Ying to sign their contract. Thus he asked our boy to put in a good word for him with the chairman. Later on, at the Guanjing General Corporation, Chen Haohai decided to check on the situation, and was left baffled by the fact that Fatty had angered the protagonist. Thus he decided to immediately contact him. And so, as our boy was making his leave, the man's phone began to ring. He burst out at the caller, claiming that he was in no mood for trivial matters. Yet the manager immediately introduced himself on the phone, and urged the fat one to pay what the loan he owes. Little did the man know that the loan was currently the least of his problems, as his gold-digging girlfriend began to beat him up for not being able to help her out. Zhang Yu asked for an explanation and clarification regarding the bank manager. Our boy explained that Chairman Tang was an acquaintance from work, and that the fat playboy was desperate to make him sign a contract. He then pointed out how he owes his friend money and proposed to Zhang Yu that he has no change, so he will give him 50 cents, leaving him baffled. He was amazed by the fact that the protagonist was giving him 5 times what he owed, making him wonder if he had taken out all of his money for the sake of their big move together. Our boy then affirmed that this money was a gift to the mother who had properly raised his friend, before claiming that they would plan the future carefully. Our boy began to think about how irritating it was that he now needed a pretext to lend money, now that he was rich. With that, the broke boy affirmed to the wealthy one that the punch of the influencer wouldn't be too harmful, promising to make both of them money. Only then did the system reappear. It informed him that his last transaction had earned him 50 points, which could be exchanged for enhancement points that would strengthen the body of the host. Su Zhenjiang was surprised by the fact that only one category could be enhanced. Thus he decided to proceed with his upgrade and dump all of his points into this category. And with that being said, it began. But upon seeing that nothing had changed, the system user began to wonder if the upgrade had truly worked. Only then did his friend snap him back to reality, and our boy decided to test his enhancement once he got back home. Our boy then asked his friend if he truly desired to work for the influencer, seeing how he despises this kind of scammer. Zhang Yu tells our boy that he only knows part of his plan and decides to take him somewhere else, where he can explain his big plan to him. As the next day dawned on Yunhai Fitness Club, the receptionist of the establishment, Yao Jingjing, also known as Little Chili, welcomed the incoming customer, only to realize that it was our boy, the freeloader. Little Chili decided to call in Bala, having assumed that he was here for her, yet our boy asked for a membership. The girl got stingy and asked the protagonist if he could even afford it. Our boy immediately called her out on her rudeness, yet she affirmed that he couldn't do anything about it. With that, Little Chili called in a coach for the new member to sign up, so Coach Sun Licao rushed to meet him. The protagonist greeted him, yet he couldn't care less. The coach then began to look around searching for the new member while wondering why the broke boy was in their gym. Yao Jingjing burst out at him and affirmed that our boy was the client in question. Yet Sun Licao affirmed that the freeloader wasn't worth his time. With that, the girl urged him to do his job. The coach was annoyed by his strict colleague, who could report him to the boss if he refused to train the boy. And so, he agreed to let him sign up, but refused to drop the mockery. And just as Little Chili was about to scream at the coach, our boy stopped her, before affirming that he would sign up with her, seeing how the coach didn't want him. Sun Licao didn't argue much before letting his colleague take care of our broke hero. With that, Little Chili asked the protagonist about the duration of the membership he desired to purchase. Su Junjiang asked the receptionist if she shouldn't tell him about the available options, so she explained how he already knew that they only have normal and platinum cards. Our boy then left Yao Jingjing shocked as he asked for 4 cards of the super expensive, unlimited time platinum option. He then pinched her cheek and demanded that 3 of them be wrapped as gifts. With that, Little Chili charged at our hero, thinking that he was mocking her, as no one had taken this option in a long time. But to her utmost shock, our boy had actually sent the money. The girl was left impressed and assumed that our boy was hastily treating himself after selling his house. Our boy was left quite pleased, as the receptionist bid him farewell politely. Shortly after, inside the changing room, our boy began to think that he should avoid disturbing Bala, as she was probably giving lessons to someone at this moment. At that moment, the system window suddenly popped up. It showed to spend 4 Mao to earn 40 points, and invest 40 points to strengthen the comprehensive attributes. A few moments later, Xu Zhenyang was left amazed, as he could clearly read the board that was far away. This made him realize how effective the enhancement system was. He thought it was pathetic that Bala was ranked second, to last in the sales leaderboard, and that perhaps Bala is not fit for a sales job. Only then did a lady greet him, asking him if he needed assistance. The young-looking lady introduced herself as Lin Zukian, the owner of this establishment, and was here to meet the person who had purchased 4 platinum memberships. Our boy explained how he was here for private tutoring. The name Lin Zukian wasn't alien to him, as she was a well-known figure who had started from scratch and pioneered smart service immersive fitness experiences. Now she was thriving in the fitness industry thanks to her smart services. She then asked our boy to follow her. The owner asked her client about the type of lessons he's looking to buy. Meanwhile, the finance assistant of the club, Sun Ji, is seen typing on her computer. Xu Zhenyang explained how he was a good friend of Baola and that he wanted to buy 5 yuan worth of her classes. The owner was left baffled by this sum and asked the rich boy if he would like to take a look at their other instructors. Seeing how each lesson cost 3 cents and that 5 lessons seemed like it would last a lifetime, she asked the protagonist if he had any dirty thoughts regarding her employee. Our boy affirmed that it wasn't the case and that Baola was just a good friend of his, which Xiao Yao could vouch for. He adds that Bala seemed troubled by her sales lately, so he wanted to do her a little favor. Upon hearing this, Lin Zukian immediately apologized for misinterpreting his intentions, while being secretly baffled by the sum that the young man was ready to spend for Bala, seeing how her branch's monthly income didn't even come close to this sum. Su Zhenyang asked the lady to keep his purchase a secret until the monthly stats of tomorrow were revealed, and for now, to just reveal that a female coach had gotten the deal. She agreed and asked the protagonist to transfer the money to her. Sometime later, in the changing room, the private coach department manager, Chen Chao, came out sweating, along with private coach Jiang Lily. They were doing bed workouts. Only then did they see the group chat gossiping about the 5 yuan deal and assume that it was a gift from manager Chen to Lily. So he asked her if she had gotten any new rich clients, only for her to deny. Lily immediately theorized that the coach in question was Bala, who finally accepted those types of deals after refusing them for so long. While her dirty colleague assumed the girl had learned to love money, meaning that he could lure her in with the right tactic. With that, Jiang Lily began to beg Chen Chao to secure her the deal, and with that, manager Chen Chao rushed to act. A few moments later, he approached Bala while pointing out the recent gossip about the mystery female coach and her 5 yuan deal. The manager claimed that he had secured this deal for Lily before promising Bala that he would grant her 50% of the commission if she agreed to go on a date with him. The girl immediately refused, and as she walked away, Chen Chao affirmed that her position was in danger, yet even so, she refused to do his bidding. This greatly annoyed the manager, yet he was certain that Bala would come crawling back to him. Later on, someone knocked at the door of the finance office, and when granted entrance, the happy couple barged in, with Chen Chao claiming that he had gotten Lily a 5 yuan deal. Sunji immediately assumed that the man was talking about another 5 yuan deal. Manager Chen Chao replied with a smile, what she means by another, it's just the one 5 yuan deal that was just announced, and asked if it was theirs. The club owner became irritated as she asked the two of them if they had truly secured it themselves. Chen Chao didn't expect his boss to be present and began to wonder if his corruption had been exposed. Seeing how upset she seemed, Lily then explained that the big deal that was announced was in fact something that she had secured, which baffled manager Chen Chao. Seeing how this one was trying to take all of the glory, despite them being discovered, he decides it's best to keep his distance from her from now on. Upon hearing this, the boss asked the trainer about the name of the client. Lily claimed to have forgotten his name. The girl then had a hard time imagining a fake client to justify herself while rushing angrily outside of the room, as she was determined to make the life of her colleague Bala a living hell. With that, she braced herself to strike Bala only to be suddenly stopped. Men of culture, we meet again. Bala, who defended herself, demanded an explanation. Lily quickly freed herself and burst at the girl for not taking the beating. And before she could make a second attempt, she was stopped by our boy, who realized that this person was constantly bullying Bala. Lily screamed at our boy to let her go and began threatening him to put his hands on her one more time. But before she could even finish her sentence, our boy suddenly knocked her to the ground. He then proceeded to joke that he's never seen such a strange request, as she made him hit her, which pleased Bala. Only then did someone decide to make an announcement. Lin Zukian revealed that Chen Chao and Jiang Lily had been secretly cheating on their performance before firing them in front of everyone. She then proceeded to praise Bala for sealing the 5 yuan deal, and she hopes that Bala will continue to excel in her job, inspiring others to follow her example. And so, as the girl tried to process her sudden success, the boss urged the ex-manager to take his partner and leave her club. Chen Chao began to think of how he had lost his job due to Lily, and how he would let her find work on her own this time around. And so, as the two corrupt trainers exited the gym, our boy was pinched in the ear. Bala began to scold him as the sum he had spent could buy a villa. The girl was desperate to give the protagonist something in return, seeing how much he had spent for her sake. Our boy asked if this sum could truly purchase a villa. Bala confirmed and claimed that she has never seen someone spend this much on a gym card. She then decided to save the money she would receive from this deal to help our boy in the future. Our boy was surprised to see that Tang Ying was calling him. Upon answering, the lady revealed that he had been invited to dine with Chen Haohai and Dong Changming from Tenglong Real Estate in the VIP room of the High City Hotel. Xu Zhenyang immediately accepted. Sometime later at the hotel, our boy arrived at his destination. The 4 champions of Yunhai Province were waiting for him: Chen Haohai from the financial industry, Dong Changming from the real estate sector, Ji Zahao from the automotive industry, and Chen Chushing from the entertainment district. Our boy muses that if these 4 are together, this must not be a friendly meeting, and that they probably need something from him. Only then did the young man stumble upon Li Hu, an old classmate from college who, despite his friendly greeting, despised the protagonist in secret. Even so, the fat man claimed this coincidence to be a pleasure and explained that he was here to talk business with Meng Meng and her family. Meng Meng, who was a previous classmate of our protagonist, claimed that they had not seen each other in a long time. Li Hu then introduced our boy to the family of Meng Meng, claiming he had been quite the figure at school, having started a successful business while still a student during their college days. This greatly impressed the girl's parents. The fat one then continued by explaining how his handsome friend was once pursued by their daughter, along with many girls, before shouting about how he lost everything and was forced to sell his house while trying to free himself from his massive debt. He then asked our boy if he had freed himself from that mountain of debt. Our boy was left particularly entertained, as this one was trying to insult him in order to make himself look better. Li Hu tells our boy that he heard he sold his house, and that this makes sense, otherwise, he wouldn't be able to afford to be at this place right now. Our boy ignores him and asks Meng Meng for the reason behind her presence here. She claimed that she was here discussing business with a client about poultry deals before asking our boy if he was here for a meal. She muses that it's been years, but that our boy is still as handsome as ever. Only then was she grabbed by the arm. Her mother wanted her to ignore the loser and focus on their important client. Li Hu was secretly laughing at our hero, saying that he must be fantasizing about being with Meng Meng. He claimed that he must have hit rock bottom and that he came to this place seeking a dishwasher job, before mocking our boy, adding that if he wants him to put in a good word for him. Only for our boy to say that there's no need, as he's here to eat. Meng Meng assumed that he was also going to the 2nd floor and invited him to go together with them, only for our boy to reveal that his table was on the 3rd floor. Hearing this, the fat one couldn't help but burst out laughing, as it cost a small fortune to book a table on the 3rd floor. With that being said, the parents of the girl decided to waste no more time on our boy and rushed to attend their business. They were pretty pleased by this opportunity and were desperate to close the deal. Meanwhile, Li Hu tried to recompose himself while mocking our boy for trying to pass as a rich man. He then tells our boy that as an old classmate, he has some advice for him. That advice was to leave the hotel with what little dignity he had left. Our boy laughed and started walking away, before stopping and giving his old classmate the same advice, telling him that he should be the one leaving instead of him. Upon hearing this, Li Hu burst out at the protagonist, calling him names, which prompted Meng Meng to ask him to be more respectful. So, he directed his anger towards her, pointing out how he had done the impossible to secure the important client for her. So how dare she talk to him like that? Meng Meng's gold-digging parents intervened, affirming to her that Li Hu was right, and urging Li Hu to pay no mind to scum and head upstairs. Our boy is the one to take this advice and tells Meng Meng that it was fine, not to worry about it, and that even though Li Hu insulted him, he would pay no mind to scum like that, and will simply head upstairs first. At that moment, Li Hu began to scream at our boy for ignoring him and demanded a sincere apology from him. Only then did the hotel manager come to check the issue at hand. Li Hu began to shout at the man, claiming that vermin like the protagonist shouldn't be allowed inside, and demanded that they kick him out. The manager apologized, claiming that they don't remove guests without cause. However, he added that Li Hu's shouting was disturbing other guests before asking him to leave. Angered, Li Hu tried to argue that the homeless-looking man, referring to our boy, was obviously not a guest. He then points towards our boy and tells him that he has 5 seconds to leave. Our boy jokes around, saying that 5 seconds feels a bit long, and he will give the fat guy 3 seconds to leave. Suddenly, someone else shows up and agrees with our boy, saying that the fat one will be out in 3 seconds. But just as Li Hu tried to argue that this was none of his business, he was left horrified, as he had accidentally raised his voice on 3 powerful figures. Meng Meng's parents came to see what was going on, but at that moment the hotel owner, Chen Chushing, introduced himself to our boy and apologized for not welcoming him earlier, before stating that they had prepared everything for him. And just as the owner demanded that Li Hu be thrown out, our boy claimed that he was only messing with him. With that, Meng Meng's gold-digging parents began to confront her, asking why she hadn't told them about our boy and why she hadn't stopped her dad from speaking to our rich protagonist in a bad manner earlier. And so, the defeated Li Hu stated that they should head to their table upstairs. He was annoyed by the fact that the owner of the hotel knew and respected the protagonist, which seemed illogical to him as he believed our boy to be some broke loser. Later, in the VIP private room of the hotel, the champion of the real estate district, Dong Changming, introduced himself to the rich young man before apologizing for being late. With that, the hotel owner, Chen Chusheng, decided to seat our hero. Our boy Xu Zhenyang expressed how unexpected it was for him to meet 3 of this city's champions, adding that it was an honor to meet them. Chen Chusheng claimed that their fame was modest at best, and Chen Haohai adds that they were honored to sit with the young man. Chen Haohai began to theorize that the protagonist was trying to draw the attention of the champions with his past actions in the Guangming headquarters. Chen Chusheng, who assumed that our regular-looking boy must have some hidden intel, began to claim that their prowess was nothing compared to our boys. Dong Changming was well aware that the constant praise from Chen Haohai was the primary reason they were even treating our boy with such respect. Tang Ying proposed ordering some food, as she was excited to bang cups with our boy, only for him to state that there was no need to rush, adding that some things are better said before drinking, before stating that they should handle the business first. Our boy then muses that the show is about to begin. Haohai asked for an explanation, so our boy explained how, as important figures, they must hate for things to be complicated or roundabout. Thus, he asked those present at the table to be truthful and straightforward from the start. Upon hearing this, Tang Ying urged the real estate champion to cut straight to the chase. And so, the man decided to reveal how an outside real estate company had been pressuring the local rivals, with his company being the primary target, given that they are the leading local enterprise. He explained that due to the outsider company's relentless obstruction, his company's stock price has plummeted and is now facing deficits. He adds that if they can't find new investors, not only will he be in trouble, but Chen Haohai might also face serious issues. Our boy immediately realized that the man wanted him as an investor, so the man asked for a 10,000 yuan loan, as he believed that to be enough to turn the situation around. Our boy affirmed that he had the money to lend, but had his conditions in order to deal with this annoying problem. The champion demanded to know what his demands were, and so, our boy revealed how he shall only resolve this problem if it concerned him personally. All were left baffled upon realizing that the young man aimed to become the boss of the real estate company. Xu Zhenyang proposed to act as the top investor in exchange for becoming their eminence in the shadows. The man was left baffled, as he knew very well that anyone could take control of his business with the necessary funds. He was fully certain that with just the necessary investment, his company could take care of the rest and win the estate war. Our boy then told the real estate champion to give him his company account, before transferring 10 times the required sum to the man. The powerful figures were left amazed, feeling like they were in the presence of true wealth, as 100 zalosen had been casually transferred. Meanwhile, the protagonist began to wonder about how many points he must have gained upon spending this immense sum. When suddenly, he was hit with a notification. The system had suspected him of manipulating points, thus it only gave him 1,000 points. This left our boy quite irritated. He was angered by the fact that the system hadn't warned him that he shouldn't overpay, as he would have only spent the required amount. And in that moment of waste, all decided to express loyalty towards their new superior. Thus, the 3 powerful men declared themselves to be subordinates under the big boss. Our boy affirmed that he shall treat them as family before suggesting to proceed with dinner. Later on, while enjoying a fancy meal, our boy decided to think big and revealed how they should purchase the Qingdao Lake. This amazed the champions, seeing how even the wealthiest men in Xia City wouldn't be able to afford this. And as he stated that they should plan on building a city around it, he mused that even if he only got 1 zalosen points from the system, it was better than nothing. But as he spent his points, our boy felt something weird inside that made him drop his glass, leaving it to break on the ground. This startled the rest of the room, so our boy reassured them that he was fine before excusing himself to go to the washroom. Suddenly, the unexpected happened, as our boy with his newfound strength broke the table. Upon seeing the top-tier wood breaking in front of their eyes like cardboard, all were left in awe in front of the strength of the young man, thinking that the boy must be superhuman. Once alone, the protagonist began to think of how effective his last spending was, as all the categories had received an incredible boost. He, who was now even able to catch a fly with the utmost ease, had gained an incredible ear that allowed him to hear his new subordinates discussing whether the accident was a power move aiming to intimidate them. This new auditory upgrade left the young man baffled. Meanwhile, with Meng Meng, her family confronted the owner of the slaughterhouse for refusing their chickens and giving them a bad reputation in the market. The one known as Lu claimed that he would take legal action if they kept coming up with false accusations before affirming that his conditions were clear. Even so, Meng Meng affirmed once again that she refuses to go to his house so late at night. Li Hu tried to intervene, pouring the man another cup and claiming that they could give him a 50% discount, only to be casually kicked away. Lu claimed that he was already showing too much kindness by accepting the invite and then forbade the fat one from speaking anymore. The pervert decided to cut straight to the chase by claiming that he would not cause problems anymore if Meng Meng offered herself to him for one night. Suddenly, someone grabs his arm, and it is revealed to be our boy who offers to spend some time with the man instead. The ogre demanded to know who the young intruder was. Upon seeing his old classmate demanding that he get out, our protagonist couldn't help but look down on the miserable soul. He then turned to the girl and affirmed to everyone that she didn't need the pervert anymore. Su Zhengyang declared that he would buy the chickens for 2 times their price and send them to the Haiqing Hotel. The simpleton didn't question the young man and felt a sudden deep gratefulness towards her savior. Yet the man assumed this to be a load of lies and nonsense, as he promised to teach the young man a lesson. At first, Lu was fearful of the protagonist, but quickly assumed him as someone beneath him, as even the lackey didn't respect him. At that moment, another individual barged in. The ogre began to scream at this one, claiming that this was none of his business, only to be left baffled, as he found himself in front of the 4 extremely powerful figures. And just as he began to wonder about the reason behind their presence here, it quickly happened, as the owner of the hotel suddenly slapped him in the face. Our boy watched in silence, along with Meng Meng, how Lu was getting a well-deserved beating, while begging the owner to stop. Li Hu was startled to see the 4 powerful figures rushing to help his old classmate. With that, Xu Zhenyang urged the owner to stop. This one quickly obeyed, and politely asked to know more about the issue at hand. Upon seeing this, the 2 overweighted villains were left horrified as Chen Chuxing was actually showing the protagonist some respect. Lu knew that Chen Chuxing came from a criminal background, so Chuxing killing him would have been like squashing an insect, so how could our boy make him stop? He wondered if our boy was from some powerful family. He was even more terrified by the fact that he had dared to raise his voice at the young man. With that, Chuxing affirmed that all of his branches were ready to assist our boy by receiving as many chickens as possible. He then proceeded to give Meng Meng his business card. He then asked his new boss about the punishment for the 2 fatties, so Xu Zhengyang threatens the pervert that if he ever harasses his friend and her family ever again, he might just make him disappear. Thus, Lu promised to stay away, and with that, our boy demanded that the 2 who disrespected him leave the hotel. Meng Meng realized that the gap between her and our boy grows bigger every day, and began to wonder about a way to express her gratitude. Shortly after, our boy was offered a ride by Meng Meng, but he refused it, explaining that his friend was coming to pick him up. Later on, Zhang Yu proposed to go rest somewhere, as the broadcast would take place at night. But just as the protagonist was about to agree, stating that he wanted to grab a bite, he suddenly ripped out the door of the car. Xu Zhenyang began to realize how insane his new strength was. With that, the broke boy burst out at the rich man for destroying the car that he was still paying for. Our boy proposed to buy him a new car altogether, yet his friend didn't believe him. But upon seeing our hero pull out a big bill, his expression immediately changed, and so they decided to shop for a new car. The protagonist turned to his new subordinate, asking him if he was familiar with cars, yet this one knew so little about them, so he decided to send him Qi Jiahao, as she knew a lot about cars. Shortly after, the lady asked the men if there is anything they would like to know about cars, so our boy decided to check out the feud first. Zhang Yu asked his friend if he truly plans on offering him a new car. Our boy confirmed and claimed that this was the least he could do for the one who helped him so much during his time of need. Seeing how generous the rich man was towards him, the young one decided to give him his unwavering loyalty. His expression quickly changed as he declared that he shall take the feud Yema. Later on in the rest area, the lady brings the boys their coffee and asks them to be patient as she prepares the contract. Meanwhile, Zhang Yu was still unable to believe that he would be able to buy himself a car in full. Our boy tells him that back when he was struggling, Zhang Yu helped him out. He jokes that he really wanted to buy a car for himself and that he brought Zhang Yu along as a bonus. Then he playfully kicks him, saying that's enough bragging for now. Only then was shouting heard. The lady who was helping our heroes asks another lady called Ma Ling what she thinks she is doing, and Ma Ling replies that she was obviously here first. This rudeness greatly pissed off the sales lady, so she asked Ma Ling if she even knew what first come first served meant, and who did she think she was to be cutting the line. She then demanded Ma Ling move out of the way, as she had customers to serve. Then a man in a green suit is seen, and he urges Mei Ling to hurry it up, and so she apologizes to him. She then screamed at her colleague that since her client was getting a dire R8, she was obviously taking care of the most expensive order. And just as the sales lady was about to argue, the blonde slapped her in the face. She then proceeded to scream at her for daring to try and make her wait to get a new car. The mean lady claimed that this should teach her not to mess with anyone superior. Upon seeing this, our hero handed the girl a tissue and asked the other customer if their expensive car really permitted them to step on others. At that moment, the rude one claimed that he was only getting it for his grocery trips. With that, the gold digger affirmed to our boy that he was in the presence of the second son of Sanlin Pharmaceutical. So our boy immediately pointed out how this was the rumored fraud medicine factory. Upon hearing this, the second son claimed that those words were rather provocative, so he charged at the protagonist and screamed at him for daring to speak back in his presence. With that, the broke boy braced himself to charge at the fancy thug, as according to him, no one was allowed to offend his friend regardless of their status. This greatly amused Lin Xiao, who summoned a man with a simple snap of his fingers. The manager immediately asked Ma Ling for the reason Mr. Lin still hadn't gotten his car, so she explained how her colleague was causing a problem and wanted to proceed with her sale first. The man then affirmed to our heroes that the second son was their most important client, so they could either leave or pick a car after him. Even so, our boy refused to cower down, affirming that it was his right to pick first. Seeing this firmness, the gold digger charged at him with a slap. Yet even then, the superhuman remained unfazed, as he easily stopped her hand. This greatly angered the woman, as she then decided to slap him with her left hand. With that, our boy couldn't take it any longer. Thus, he decided to adopt an old style and kick the woman in her stomach, sending her flying a few meters away. Upon seeing how his girl had been struck by another man, the second son gave the protagonist 5 seconds to apologize or risk facing the consequences. Yet our boy dared the man to come at him, while still being baffled by the ridiculous power that the system had injected into his body. And so the second son pulled out his phone, trying to call Ki Yunfei, and tells the boy that he better start making arrangements for his funeral now, as there won't be any time when Ki Yunfei arrives. His lady, who needed help to walk, urged him to do so immediately. Upon taking a look at the situation, Zhang Yu suggested they retreat for now, yet Su Zhengyang refused to do so, as it would mean leaving the sales lady alone to face the consequences. Our boy wasn't worried about the one known as Ki Yunfei. Having recognized him as someone beneath the hotel owner, he had decided to contact. Mai Ling began to claim that our heroes must be terrified right now, and that none of this would have happened if they had just accepted being trampled on as they should. She then proceeded to point to her colleague, who didn't let her give the second son the VP treatment, and said that it would cost her dearly. And so, as our boy's point was proven regarding them attacking the sales lady, Zhang Yu blamed himself for this entire mess, seeing how he had escalated it. Meanwhile, Lin Xiao had managed to convince his uncle to come help him. He then hung up the phone and affirmed to the boys that they should call some friends for backup, in order to make their beating worthy of Qi Shu's time. Even so, the protagonist, who had just finished sending his message, claimed that it wouldn't be necessary, as he was looking forward to the arrival of the man's uncle. And so, a few moments later, 3 cars arrived at the scene. From each, many armed men were immediately deployed. Kishu had finally made his entrance, demanding to know who was harassing the second son. Lin Xiao immediately pointed his uncle towards our heroes, and even claimed that they were regarding him as a joke. With that being said, the man grew quite angry. And just like that, the gangster everyone was waiting for finally makes his move. But instead of attacking our boy and Zhang Yu, he suddenly sends the first hit straight toward the person who called him over. The second son is instantly slammed down, and the guy is so confused he nearly forgets how pain works. He quickly screams that Uncle Qi got the wrong target because the people he came for are the 2 sitting across from them. But Uncle Qi looks over like he just remembered an item on his grocery list and casually tells his men not to forget the woman either. Then he orders them to beat both of them to a pulp. His men immediately respond like loyal NPCs receiving a quest, and the beating starts right there in the dealership. The arrogant woman screams that they are hitting the wrong people, while the second son desperately begs Uncle Qi to stop. The poor guy is crying so hard he looks like he already saw his ancestors waving from the other side. He keeps calling out to Uncle Qi, completely unable to understand why the man he called for backup is suddenly beating him like he owes rent. Still, confused, he asks why that bastard messed with him, yet he's the one getting punished instead. But Uncle Qi doesn't bother giving him a polite explanation. He simply tells him that he doesn't need to understand and should just take the beating quietly. Then he kicks him straight down again, sending the guy crashing to the floor like a broken mannequin. The woman beside him asks if Uncle Qi is blind, pointing out that she and the man on the floor are the ones who came to him for help. So why is he attacking them instead? The blonde woman loses her mind, asking why he isn't helping them and whether he has any brains at all. And that was the wrong thing to say. Uncle Qi's expression goes dark instantly. He looks down at her and says that she sure talks a lot. At this point, she should have just kept quiet, because when a gangster with a whole army behind him says you talk too much, that is not a compliment. He calmly tells his men to handle it. From there, while the woman and the second son are still being beaten in the background. Then he steps toward the second son and makes one thing clear. He grabs the guy by the face, lifts him up, and tells him to listen carefully. He explains that the second son messed with someone he never should have touched. What happened just now was only a small punishment, and what happens next depends entirely on how that person wants to deal with him. The second son is completely terrified when he hears this. He starts trembling, realizing that the person Uncle Qi is talking about isn't some random customer at all. It's Su Zhengyang. The second son and the blonde woman collapse onto the ground, shaking like they just survived a boss fight. They were never qualified to enter. Meanwhile, Uncle Qi walks toward our boy and Zhang Yu. Zhang Yu immediately panics. He whispers to our boy that this Qi Yunfei doesn't seem normal at all. The man just beat up his own people so viciously, so if he ever decided to hit Zhang Yu, he might turn into a donation box. But our boy simply tells him not to worry because Qi Yunfei won't touch him. Then Qi Yunfei reaches our boy, and instead of attacking, he suddenly bows with all of his men behind him. He respectfully greets him as Mr. Shu. Zhang Yu freezes on the spot because his brain is trying to process how the gangster who was just rearranging people's bones is now bowing like a waiter at a five-star restaurant. Chi. Yunfei then asks our boy what they should do with the other two, the rude saleswoman Ma Ling and the useless manager who helped look down on them earlier. Our boy stays calm and says that the woman has a foul mouth, so they can handle it as they see fit. Chi Yunfei immediately understands. His men grab Ma Ling and drag her away while she screams for mercy, and the manager just sits there in silence, probably wishing he had chosen a different career path this morning. Jiang Yu becomes even more terrified when he sees Chi Yunfei walking back over. He says he can already see his great-grandmother coming to fetch him, but our boy asks if Jiang Yu believes him now because even more unbelievable things are about to happen. And right on cue, another big shot arrives. A tall, powerful-looking man walks into the dealership and Jiang Yu recognizes him immediately. It is Che Jihao, the so-called South King of Yunhai and the fourth king among the major powers of the city. The moment he appears, even the men around him become respectful. Che Jihao rushes toward our boy, grabs his hand, and apologizes for being late. But our boy tells him that he isn't late at all. He arrived just in time. Jiang Yu and the salesgirl are completely stunned. The fourth king of Yunhai, a man who should be treated like a living mountain of status, is now bowing and scraping in front of our boy like he just found his long-lost grandpa. Our boy then tells Che Jihao to come over and explain what is going on. The salesgirl quickly reports the situation, explaining that our boy and Jiang Yu came to buy a car, but then the manager and Ma Ling started giving them trouble. She summarizes everything that happened, from the disrespect to the threats, basically giving Che Jihao the customer service version of "these people were asking to get destroyed." Che Jihao listens and then asks our boy whether her account matches what happened or if she left out any details. Our boy says that it is more or less correct, but she described it too gently. He then points out the manager's exact words. The manager had told them that if they wanted the car, they could wait, and if they didn't, they could turn right and leave. The manager immediately falls to the floor and begs for forgiveness. He says he is truly sorry and claims he had no idea who our boy was. But Che Jihao is not in the mood to hear excuses. He tells the manager to shut his filthy mouth, take a right turn, and get out immediately. Then Che Jihao turns to Chi Yunfei and tells him to grab a few men and throw out the trash. Chi Yunfei obeys right away, calling him fourth brother and assuring Mr. Shu that he will take care of everything. Just like that, the arrogant second son, the blonde woman, Ma Ling, and the manager are all dragged out like garbage bags after a failed shopping trip. Outside the dealership, Chi Yunfei makes sure everyone understands the consequences. He announces that these people dared to offend Mr. Shu, so from now on, if anyone sees them, they should beat them on sight. His underlings are shocked and ask what kind of person Mr. Shu really is, because even fourth brother treats him with this much respect. Chi Yunfei quickly shuts them up. He tells them that Mr. Shu is not someone they can casually call by name. Then he orders them to go visit the fake medicine factory behind Lin Xiao's family and clean it out thoroughly. If they handle it well, Mr. Shu will be pleased. His men immediately agree and rush off to deal with it. Back inside, our boy turns to the salesgirl, the one who actually treated him with basic respect from the start. He asks her how she would feel about becoming the manager of the shop. She is so shocked that she can barely believe he is talking about her. One minute she was just trying to sell a car, and the next minute our boy promoted her like he was, handing out side quests. He tells her to go finish the paperwork, and she immediately thanks both her boss and Mr. Shu. But our boy calmly tells her to get moving because he doesn't like repeating himself. This girl's whole life just got upgraded because she decided not to be a terrible person. Imagine that. Customer service actually paid off. Che Jihao then quickly tells our boy that he will arrange for the cars to be delivered immediately. Our boy agrees and says he will leave it to him while thinking that Che Jihao sure changes his tune quickly. Not long after, the cars are already prepared outside, shining like they were summoned with cheat codes. Our boy admits that Che Ji-hao is efficient. Che Ji-hao then respectfully asks if Mr. Shu has any plans for tonight, saying he would like to host a banquet for him. He is clearly hoping that if the big boss accepts, it would mean he has truly earned some favor. But our boy declines for now, saying maybe another time because he still has work to do. He then gets into one of the cars with Zhang Yu and tells Che Ji-hao that he will take one car now, while the other should be sent to his brother at the address he provides. Che Ji-hao bows politely and wishes Mr. Shu safe travels as the car drives away. But the moment our boy leaves, Che Ji-hao's smile fades. He wonders if the boss is actually unhappy and whether the fallout from today's incident will become a disaster. To play it safe, he decides to call everyone for a meeting immediately. Meanwhile, inside the car, Zhang Yu finally lets out the question that has been sitting in his soul this entire time. He asks old Shu when he became so badass, because all these powerful people are lining up to act like his lackeys. Honestly, this man left the house expecting to buy a car and somehow watched his friend unlock mafia customer service. Our boy decides it is time to come clean. Well, kind of. He tells Zhang Yu that he is actually a feng shui master. He claims he helped the four kings of Yunhai improve their luck and make tons of money, so of course they should treat him like their grandfather. Zhang Yu immediately knows this sounds ridiculous, but at the same time he has personally seen these big shots bowing to Shu Zhengyang, so arguing feels pointless. He says that Shu can brag all he wants, but he has to admit that he respects anyone who can scam rich people this successfully. Still, Zhang Yu warns him not to mess with these kinds of people lightly, because if this blows up, Shu Zhengyang could end up in big trouble. Then Zhang Yu secretly thinks about how all this money came too suddenly. If things really do go wrong, Shu Zhengyang could be in danger, so he needs to find a way to quickly build up his own strength and help him out. But our boy stays calm and tells him not to worry, because he has everything under control. With his hands on the wheel, he smiles and says it is time to go work for New Chunsheng. Sometime later, our boy and Zhang Yu finally arrive at the live stream venue for Qigong Master New Chunsheng. Our boy looks around at all the people screaming and asks Zhang Yu how much money he thinks they can make from just this one show. Zhang Yu laughs it off and says he has no idea because he is just a worker here. In other words, brother came here to get smacked for pocket change, not to understand the business model. The performance continues, and it becomes obvious that the so-called master's attendants are mostly there to attract attention. Meanwhile, the netizens are treating the whole thing like a monkey show, laughing, watching, and giving the stream exactly what it wants. Traffic. Everyone here is pretending to be serious. But the whole setup is basically a scam with stage lights and background music. Zhang Yu says the viewers are probably too dumb to realize it, but someone else's earnings are skyrocketing by using these people for just a few shows. Our boy smiles and jokes that maybe the person really is a master. Of course, he also admits there are a lot of fakes. And with this kind of setup, the fake ones are not even hiding anymore. They are practically wearing name tags. Zhang Yu warns our boy to be careful, saying that if his auntie finds out he accepted this kind of job, she will definitely smack him later. Our boy tells him to relax because he has everything under control. Then one of the staff members calls them over and tells them to get ready. Their job is simple: get on stage, spar with the master, and after taking a hit, fall down. Most importantly, they need to make it look convincing. Outside the venue, a fancy car pulls up, and the so-called Qigong Master Niu Chunsheng finally appears. He is introduced as a legendary figure with continuous shock, inner strength, and the head of some miracle Tai Chi technique. The crowd immediately goes wild, shouting that Master Niu has arrived and telling everyone to make way. But honestly, if scams had grandpa skins, this guy would be the premium edition. Once on stage, Master Niu announces that he and the disciples of the Tai Chi sect are here to perform live combat. He claims this is to refute all the rumors and slanderous remarks online about their sect. Then he says that he is disappointed because there are no more than 10 people in the world who truly understand traditional martial arts, and he just so happens to be one of them. Zhang Yu listens to the speech and whispers that the old man is already ancient, yet he still refuses to stay home playing cards with his grandchildren. Our boy simply says it doesn't matter because they are only here to earn money, so who cares about him? Master Niu then continues bragging, saying that his continuous shock inner strength is not something he can easily explain. According to him, real techniques cannot just be passed on casually, so everyone will understand only after he demonstrates it. The act officially begins, and the first performer grabs Master Niu's hand. The old man thinks to himself that as long as he gives the signal, the man will fall. In the audience area, Zhang Yu asks if that is the third extra, wondering when it will be their turn. Our boy guesses that they probably follow the numbers, so they just need to wait. The director behind the scenes starts giving instructions through the monitor. He tells number 3 to jump, fall, twitch, roll on the ground, and roll 4 times. The actor immediately follows every command, throwing himself around like he is getting attacked by invisible Wi-Fi. Our boy watches this and thinks the poor director must be the most exhausted person in the whole venue. Forget martial arts. The real internal energy here is coming from the guy controlling the fake fight. After the actor finishes rolling around, Master Niu pretends to explain what happened. He claims the man flew out because of the shock from his Qigong. Then he says that since Qigong is an area of effect attack, it can be used like a cannon to deal damage to everyone nearby. When the old man says he will now face 4 people at once, our boy and Zhang Yu nearly burst into laughter. Zhang Yu jokes that the old man is actually trendy, using words like AOE and map cannon. This grandpa is out here mixing fake martial arts with gaming terminology like he just watched one mobile game ad and made it his whole personality. The director then gives the next instructions. Numbers 5, 6, 7, and 8 are up next. He specifically tells number 7, which is our boy, to ask whether he can attack however he wants before getting on stage. Our boy is impressed, thinking that these people are actually professional, enough to feed him lines too. So our boy walks toward the stage with the others and asks if that means he can attack however he likes. Master Niu, still fully committed to the act, says that's right. He can attack however he wants and whenever he wants. The old man even says he doesn't need to look, because the moment he releases his Qigong, no one will be able to come near him. Hearing this, our boy smiles and says he is relieved. That was the last thing Master Niu should have said to a man whose strength has been upgraded by a cheat system. The director continues giving instructions, telling number 7 to act, like he is bounced away later, then roll backward at least 3 times. But before the director can even finish, our boy throws a real punch straight at Master Niu. And just like that, the fake martial arts master is sent flying. The crowd freezes. The other extras stare in shock. Zhang Yu and everyone nearby look completely stunned because number 7 didn't fake the scene. He turned the scam into reality. Master Niu gets launched like the continuous shock finally decided to switch teams. Zhang Yu's eyes light up as he realizes what just happened. He says it looks like they gave old Shu the lead role, so they have to defeat that old man first. He refuses to be left out of such an important program effect and immediately jumps into the chaos. On stage, our boy and Zhang Yu begin calling Master Niu a fraud. They accuse him of pretending to be a Qigong master and disgracing traditional martial arts. The director panics in the background, shouting at numbers 7 and 8, asking what on earth they are doing. Zhang Yu keeps the act going by shouting that Master Niu fell down on his own. Then he charges forward because, in his words, this is live, and chances like this to get famous do not come often. This man came here as an extra and suddenly decided he was auditioning for the main villain role. Our boy quickly tells Zhang Yu to stop and tells them to shut down the live stream as well. But before things can calm down, a man in a blue suit storms in and demands to know what is going on. He asks how they could actually hit Master New. Then the man looks at the old master sitting on the floor and becomes even more confused. He says he didn't even touch him, yet he collapsed. Then again, isn't Master New supposed to be one of the few people who truly mastered traditional martial arts? How can he be this fragile? The man knows they are tricking the audience, but even to him, this is way too much. Then the situation takes an even funnier turn. The man in the blue suit stops pretending and openly says that even if he is lying, what can they do about it? He admits that the old man doesn't know anything about martial arts and that he told him to fake everything. Instead of being ashamed, he starts praising the punches our boy threw, saying they were great and that he wonders how much traffic this chaos will bring them. He even wonders how many idiot students will sign up for their class after this, bragging that their fees are expensive. To him, the scandal isn't a disaster, it is free advertising. This guy got exposed and still tried to turn fraud into a marketing campaign. Honestly, that level of shamelessness should be taxed separately. Then our boy quietly pulls out his phone. The blue-suited man notices and asks what the hell he is doing. Our boy calmly says it is nothing. Then he reveals that he accidentally started recording before going on stage. And on the phone, the man's own confession plays back clearly. He admits that Master New knows nothing about martial arts, that he told the old man to fake it, and that the whole performance could bring in more traffic and more students. The blue-suited man immediately loses his confidence. His face darkens as he curses our boy for secretly recording him. But our boy stays calm and points out that even though they are just trying to earn money, asking an old man to fake martial arts so they can profit from it is going too far. That is when the man completely snaps. He screams in rage, asking how our boy dares scheme against him. At the same time, several huge bald bodyguards storm onto the stage behind him, looking ready to turn the situation ugly. The man walks forward with his men and says it seems he can't let them leave so easily today. Then he asks whether our boy really thinks he can threaten him just because he took a video. The blue-suited organizer claims that he never wanted to get physical and only planned to ask Xu Zhengyang to compensate him for the money lost after the live stream ended early. But after looking at our boy and Zhang Yu, he assumes they probably don't have money anyway, so his patience disappears faster than Master New's dignity. He orders his men to take Xu Zhengyang's phone and break the hand holding it. Zhang Yu immediately panics, realizing they may have pushed things too far. The organizer is angry now, and Zhang Yu has no idea how to fix this mess. But instead of hiding behind our boy, Zhang Yu suddenly charges forward. He tells the thugs to be afraid of his weakling punch, thinking that Xu Zhengyang has already been too kind to him, and there's no way he can let old Xu take the hit. He even hypes himself up as the strongest man in the Tumble Garden, whatever that means. Brother's courage arrived before his common sense did. Zhang Yu slams his fist into one of the big men, but the result is exactly what anyone with eyes would expect. The thug barely reacts. In the next moment, Zhang Yu gets grabbed like a misbehaving child, while the rest of the men close in around our boy. The organizer smugly says it isn't over yet and starts calling out some ridiculous ultimate flying human move. Then everything changes. Before the thugs can overwhelm them, Xu Zhengyang moves. Several of the big men are sent flying in an instant, crashing away like bowling pins. One of them still has Zhang Yu in his grip, but our boy's eyes sharpen, and he launches a clean kick straight into the man's face. The thug's whole head snaps back, and he drops immediately. Our boy then casually asks why he heard someone saying they were the strongest man in the garden. Zhang Yu quickly denies it, saying Xu must be hallucinating because he definitely didn't say anything. But inside, Zhang Yu is still emotional, thinking that he only wanted to save old Xu at least once, just to make himself feel better. Yet, somehow old Xu ended up saving him again. Xu Zhengyang doesn't waste any more time. He tells Zhang Yu to leave, and the two of them immediately run. As they escape, our boy thinks that even though his stats are high now, he has never actually trained with the system. If that organizer called in a real master, he would be in trouble. In other words, our boy may be strong, but he knows very well that pressing the upgrade button is not the same thing as learning martial arts. The system gave him the hardware, but the software is still running on beginner mode. While running away, Zhang Yu can't hold back anymore. He asks old Shu when he became so powerful, because he just knocked out every huge thug with one kick. Zhang Yu asks when he learned that and why he never mentioned it before. Our boy simply smiles and reminds him that he once asked Zhang Yu to work out with him, but Zhang Yu refused. So if Zhang Yu missed the secret training arc, that is his own problem. Zhang Yu still refuses to let it go. He asks if this is some real secret technique, because even a fitness instructor wouldn't be able to knock someone out with just one kick. He excitedly says that he'll treat Shu Zhengyang to Chinese barbecue if our boy shares the technique with him. Shu tells him he wouldn't understand it anyway, but he'll accept the barbecue. This man really said the martial arts are too advanced for you, but the food offering has been approved. Meanwhile, Master Niu Chunsheng is absolutely furious. He screams about who hired those extras, calling them unethical for ambushing an old man like him. The people around him quickly point out that the extras said they didn't even hit him and that he collapsed on his own. But Master Niu is not trying to hear logic right now. He explodes at them, asking if they want to get fired, and demands to know how the live stream data is doing. Because of the chaos during the live broadcast, every local media outlet has jumped on the story, turning the incident into the hottest topic in the area. A woman reports that people online are scolding them non-stop, and if they can't manage the situation properly, the company's stock price could be affected too. The blue-suited organizer walks in and says they still have a chance to turn things around. In fact, they may even be able to come out ahead. His plan is simple. They need Master Niu to personally take action. Master Niu immediately understands the role he has to play. He says he can put out a statement claiming that he was ambushed. According to him, he will say he was careless and simply didn't dodge in time. Otherwise, those two would never have been able to touch him. Then he will ask the attackers to reflect on their actions. The organizer listens to this and silently admits that the old man really has perfected the art of acting like a master. At this point, Master Niu's strongest skill isn't Qigong, it's crisis PR. At the manager's office, another woman worries about the video Shu Zhengyang took. She says if the video leaks, they will be in serious trouble. If it gets out, old Niu might be completely finished. So maybe they should ask for the boss's help. The organizer acts confident and tells her to go down and help old Niu. He says he will handle the rest. But even while saying that, he knows there is only one real option left. They need help from that person. That night, in a large office high above the city, a woman receives the report. She asks for confirmation. The person who attacked old Niu took a video, and in that video, the curly-haired organizer admitted that they were running a scam and fooling their fans. The man on the laptop says yes, and explains that the online media are too aggressive now. They can barely handle the situation anymore, so they have no choice but to ask for her help. If Miss Zhao steps in, the controversy should calm down quickly. Miss Zhao is clearly interested. She says she can't believe someone managed to play all of them like that. From her perspective, this boy is actually quite capable. But if they want to suppress the media, they still need to get their hands on that video. So she gives a simple order. Find out where the boy lives in 3 minutes. Sometime later, Shu Zhengyang and Zhang Yu are sitting outside on the street eating barbecue. Like they didn't just destroy a fake martial arts empire. Zhang Yu starts complaining that old Shu must have secretly planned to create a viral headline because he didn't tell him in advance. He says that isn't very brotherly of him. Shu immediately throws the accusation back at him. He says, "Zhang, you still has the nerve to say that when the old man collapsed on his own and Zhang Yu still ran up and punched him. If Shu hadn't told Zhang Yu the secret on the spot, they would have been exposed instantly. Basically, Zhang Yu tried to improvise and almost turned the scam exposure into a comedy sketch. Then a luxury car suddenly stops in front of them. A beautiful woman sitting inside recognizes Xu Zhengyang and tells him to get in the car because they need to talk. Zhang Yu's eyes instantly light up. He tells old Xu that she is rich and pretty, then asks when Xu plans to introduce one like her to him. This guy almost got folded by bodyguards 5 minutes ago, and he's already back to hunting for romance. Truly unbreakable. Our boy looks at Zhang Yu and seems to think about what kind of standard Zhang Yu is even talking about. Then he simply asks whether Zhang Yu wants to get in the car too. But Miss Zhao is not in the mood for games. She says she is still hungry and doesn't have time for them. If they want to talk, then they can get out of the car and talk. One of her bodyguards gets angry and calls Xu Zhengyang a little punk for speaking that way, but Miss Zhao calmly stops him, saying Xu has a point. She steps out of the car and introduces her attitude clearly. Some things, she says, should be discussed openly and above board if they want them to succeed. This is Zhao Xiaoman, Miss Zhao from the Zhao family. Zhao Xiaoman gets straight to the point. She tells Xu Zhengyang that she is here to buy the video and asks him to name a price. Our boy immediately realizes this situation is bigger than it looks. He thinks about how Zhao Xiaoman is the outstanding third-generation young heir of the Zhao family. And now, she personally came to handle this matter. The Zhao family is one of the top families in Santai City, and the second son, Zhao Huashan, is involved in the entertainment industry. Since Zhao Huashan's eldest daughter is standing in front of him, it means the incident with Niu Chunsheng is clearly important to the Zhao family. Zhao Xiaoman notices that he already understands the situation, so she says this should be easier to handle. Then she places a check on the table and tells him to fill it in himself. Xu Zhengyang looks at the check and asks if any amount is fine. Zhao Xiaoman says that's right, but if he refuses, she will have to use a more explicit approach. Still, she says she believes he understands the principle that harmony brings wealth. Our boy smiles and says that in that case he will take it. But while Zhao Xiaoman is acting polite, her thoughts are completely different. She can't believe her. Father asked her to personally handle such a small issue. To her, our boy and Zhang Yu are just low-level nobodies with no power or influence, and dealing with them using money is already a waste. If it weren't for the crowd around them, she believes she would have plenty of other ways to torture him to death. Our boy hands over the check. Zhao Xiaoman smiles confidently, holding the check in her hand as she tells Xu Zhengyang that it was a pleasure working together. On the surface, she looks calm and elegant, but inside she's looking down on our boy and Zhang Yu like they are bugs crawling across her expensive shoes. She thinks that lower-class people like them are so pitiful that even if she gave them 100 chances, the number they could write would never match a single bag of hers. But the moment she looks at the check, her expression changes. Our boy has written down $990,000. Zhao Xiaoman instantly freezes because she thought she was buying a video from some powerless nobody, not handing a blank check to someone who actually knows how to use it. She snaps, saying, "This isn't funny." Our boy just looks at her and calmly asks, "What?" She asks if he really thinks he can exchange that money, but our boy reminds her that he already warned her earlier. If she can't meet his expectations, then maybe he should just erase 2 zeros from the amount. Then, right in front of her, he tears the check. The bodyguard beside Zhao Xiaoman immediately loses his temper and calls out Xu Zhengyang's name, calling him a little kid. He rushes toward our boy, shouting that he's asking for death. But the moment he reaches him, our boy catches his hand like he just grabbed a fly out of the air. Xu Zhengyang looks at him and says, "It seems like he wants to do this the rough way." Then he slams the man's hand down onto the table with terrifying force. The entire table splits apart, and the bodyguard gets smashed down so hard that even Zhao Xiaoman is stunned. She realizes that this little guy is way stronger than expected. Ordinary bodyguards clearly won't be enough to deal with him. In other words, Miss Zhao brought regular security to a system-enhanced protagonist fight. That's not protection, that's a free demonstration. Our boy flicks the man away and coldly says that the Zhao family really loves stealing from others, but they didn't even bring anyone capable to stop him. He mocks them, asking if they are short on money. Zhao Xiaoman's expression becomes colder. She says she doesn't care who he is, but he has truly angered her now. She promises that she will use every resource she has to end him. And while she is busy making her dramatic villain speech, our boy turns to Zhang Yu and casually says they should go eat somewhere else. Zhang Yu immediately agrees, saying he isn't even hungry anymore because all this drama has already filled him up. Honestly, same. They came for barbecue and accidentally got a full-course meal of rich people losing their minds. As the two of them walk away, Zhao Xiaoman silently declares that she doesn't care whether Xu Zhengyang is truly as strong as the rumors say. The moment he crossed the Zhao family, his good days were over. But Xu Zhengyang doesn't even bother looking back. He keeps walking with Zhang Yu and tells him to remember the first time Zhang helped him. Back then, they ate hot pot together. So now, he wants to relive it. Zhang Yu immediately laughs, agreeing that the place really does have good hot pot, but this time, the meal is on old Xu. A few days later, Master Niu Chunsheng appears online, again covered in bandages and acting like he's the victim of a tragic war crime. He tells the audience that those two young men came straight at him, and because he was too careless, he didn't dodge in time and got hit. He says he has already told everyone that youngsters nowadays have no honor. He then continues shaking his phone while claiming that they came to cheat and ambush an almost 70-year-old man. This old man really got folded on live stream and still had the nerve to come back with a victim speech. At this point, his strongest martial art is emotional manipulation. Meanwhile, Zhao Yiming, the young master of the Zhao family, is furious. He throws the phone away and screams that Xu Zhengyang humiliated the Zhao family, so he will destroy him. But he isn't only angry at Xu. He also curses Niu Chunsheng, calling him an idiot for thinking he can fool people with such ridiculous statements. Then Zhao Yiming turns his anger toward Zhao Xiaoman. He asks her if this is how she handles things for the family, demanding to know how she could mess up something so simple. But Zhao Xiaoman is not intimidated at all. She calmly drinks her tea and says that if he hadn't gotten drunk, his sister wouldn't have had to step in. Besides, who's to say he would have handled it any better? Then the real authority in the room finally speaks. Zhao Huashan, the boss of Zhao Entertainment and the second son of the Zhao family, tells them that getting angry won't help. He looks at Zhao Yiming and says that with his current behavior, he will never earn their grandfather's approval. Zhao Xiaoman lowers her head and admits to her father that she knows she was wrong and will fix it. Zhao Huashan stands up and says this man is now their responsibility. He tells them to use their brains and keep the matter clean and organized. At the very least, they need to show their grandfather that they are capable. But even after agreeing, Zhao Xiaoman is still furious. Although the family hasn't suffered any major financial loss, their reputation has been damaged. She watches Master Niu's video, where he keeps preaching about respect, honor, and martial arts. And she finally snaps. She crushes the phone under her heel, unable to stand the old man's shameless acting any longer. Later, while riding in the car, Baola watches the same video and laughs, saying that Niu Chunsheng is way too funny. She pokes Xu Zhengyang and jokes that Master Niu really tried to make a big deal out of the incident with Zhang Yu, so Xu must have been behind it, right? Our boy simply tells her to stop joking because he is driving. Still, he thinks through the situation. Niu Chunsheng's team reacted quickly, and their video went viral right after the live stream. However, the video Xu secretly recorded didn't expose much beyond a few useful underlings. Even so, it still brought him unexpected benefits. Someone later tells him that thanks to his video, their new short video app has become one of the top 10 most popular apps. Our boy didn't expect that exposing a scammer would make him a small profit. He really outdid himself this time. Once the matter reached the higher-ups, Niu Chunsheng and a group of fake masters were all sent to prison. But the Zhao family, being the sponsor behind Niu Chunsheng, kept quiet from beginning to end. They sold off the company directly and washed their hands of the whole thing like none of it had anything to do with them. Classic rich family move. Burn the evidence, sell the building, and act confused. Soon, Xu Zhengyang arrives with Baola at her university reunion. Baola tells him that she is only attending a school gathering, so he doesn't need to join her. but our boy confidently says that with a handsome fake boyfriend like himself beside her, no pervert would dare come near her. Baola laughs and says she'll give him that, then tells him to come along. She even calls him Little Yang and tells him to join his Royal Highness. Our boy smiles, but inside he admits that if he weren't worried this silly girl would get bullied, he wouldn't have come at all. When they enter the gathering, a beautiful silver-haired woman greets Baola warmly. Her name is Lee Yiru, Baola's university classmate. She seems genuinely happy to see her, and Baola wishes her a happy birthday. Our boy watches the two of them and thinks that this girl seems quite close with Baola. However, he quickly notices something else. The other people at the gathering don't look friendly toward Baola at all. Their expressions are sharp, cold, and full of bad intentions. Looks like trouble is already lining up before the cake even arrives. Then one of the women suddenly calls out, asking how Chung Baola dares to show her face here. The peaceful birthday gathering barely lasts a few seconds before Sun Li immediately starts attacking Baola. She asks if Baola gets a thrill out of mooching off meals and running away from the bill, then accuses her of showing up today just to harm Yiru again. Baola tries to defend herself, telling Sun Li that she is going overboard and that the whole restaurant incident was something they brought on themselves. But Sun Li cuts her off and tells her to shut up, claiming Baola was the one who said it was her treat, only to ditch the bill afterward. Then Sun Li starts yelling even louder, asking if Baola thinks she's smart for playing them like fools. She tells Baola to look at herself in the mirror, while the people around them start whispering, wondering how Baola's character could be so bad. Some even say that she was already like this back in school. Our boy quietly watches the scene and realizes that Baola really has always been a bit clumsy when dealing with these kinds of shrewd women. Every time she meets sharp-tongued competitors like this, she ends up getting hurt. This girl is good-hearted, but unfortunately, good-hearted people are usually the first ones these snakes try to bite. But this time, Baola doesn't back down. She tells Sun Li that Sun Li keeps saying she promised to treat everyone, but if that's the truth, then why doesn't Sun Li dare mention how she called Baola to the restaurant in the first place? Sun Li instantly freezes, unable to answer. Baola keeps pressing her, saying that they were the ones who ordered first and didn't want to pay, so they tricked her into going to the restaurant. Then, after seeing that her boyfriend had money, they called over a bunch of shady friends, hoping to enjoy a grand feast at her expense. Baola asks if they think it's fine to take advantage of her, but somehow wrong for her to retaliate. And now they even want to punish her for it? She asks Sun Li how her skin can be so thick. Our boy is actually impressed. He thinks Baola has finally learned how to rile people up, and that's not easy. Sure, it still feels a little awkward since it's her first time properly fighting back, but with more practice, she'll get the hang of it. Brother is basically watching his disciple unlock the verbal counterattack skill. Lee Yiru quickly steps in and tries to calm Baola down. She tells her that she needs to correct her temper because she invited Baola today so she could have a chance to reconcile with everyone. But then Yiru quietly reveals the real reason behind the invitation. She asks if Baola still remembers Jo-man. Jo-man's husband is the young master of Santai City's Sun family, and his worth is more than 100 yuan. Yiru says Jo-man asked her to pass on a message. As long as Baola bows to her, she will have no trouble finding a job. Baola immediately understands everything. She asks if Yiru invited her here just so she could submit to Jo-man. Then she realizes that all these years of her career going downhill may have been caused by Jo-man's trap. Yiru sighs and tells Baola that everyone should know their place in the world. She says Baola can't keep trying to climb higher. Then she admits that her own family's textile factory is also supported by Jo-man's husband, so Baola should just do what Jo-man wants. If Baola bows her head, it will help both Baola and Yiru. In other words, this birthday party was never a reunion. It was a setup with cake decorations. Right then, someone announces that Jo-man has arrived. A woman walks in with a fat man beside her. She is Jo-man, Baola's university classmate, while the man beside her is Sun Feng, the young master of Santai City's Sun family. The moment they arrive, everyone rushes over to flatter them. Yiru welcomes Jo-man and young master Feng, saying they have all been waiting. The crowd treats them like royalty, especially Sun Feng, because his family controls the clothing industry in Santai City. Our boy asks Baola if Jo-man is her university arch-rival. Baola confirms it, saying Jo-man is extremely sly and she has only now realized that Jo-man has been playing her all these years. Jo-man greets Baola with a fake smile, acting like old classmates casually meeting again. Baola returns the greeting, but the tension is obvious. Then Jo-man formally introduces Sun Feng as her husband and the young master of the Sun family. She proudly reminds everyone that the Sun family is the dominant power in Santai City's clothing industry. The crowd immediately starts flattering the couple, saying little man and young master Sun truly match each other, and that it is their honor to meet him. Everyone is praising them so hard you'd think they were trying to polish Sun Feng's shoes with their tongues. That is when our boy suddenly starts laughing. Everyone turns to him and asks, "What's so funny?" Shu Jungyang waves his hand and says, "It's nothing." He just couldn't hold it in when he heard the word dominates. After all, the line was just too cheesy. The atmosphere instantly changes. Our boy then asks if everyone is here. Since they are all present, he wants to ask a question. His expression turns cold as he asks which one of them has been playing games in the shadows and repeatedly stopping his girlfriend from finding a job. Then he asks if they are tired of living. The whole room goes silent for a second before the women start laughing. They clearly think our boy is insane. Jo-man mocks Baola, asking if her boyfriend even knows the status of the Sun family. According to her, little man's husband is 1,000 times more superior than Shu Jungyang, yet Shu still has the audacity to speak like that. Jo-man then turns back to Baola and says she doesn't know what kind of boyfriend Baola found, but she'll ignore the bragging. She points out his careless and irresponsible appearance and says Baola will have a hard time with him in this life. Baola steps forward and says he is her boyfriend, so Jo-man doesn't need to worry. But Jo-man keeps pressing. She asks what exactly Baola has to be proud of when she doesn't even have a job right now. Then she offers to introduce Baola to one, saying it could be as a security guard, nanny, or whatever else, because it only takes one word from her husband, Sun. Feng joins in and says it's simple. Coincidentally, the company's sales department is missing a manager, and if Baola and Shu are willing, he can arrange it for them. But his real thoughts are disgusting. Even though Jo-man doesn't get, along with Baola, Sun Feng thinks Baola's looks are pretty decent. If he can get her too, then he'll make a killing. This man saw a job interview and immediately turned it into a predator application form. Then Sun Feng offers a base salary of 5 cents excluding sales commission and asks what Baola thinks. The women around them are shocked, wondering if young Master Sun is really that generous. Sun Feng tells Baola she can't rely on others forever and should think about the people around her. He says 5 cents a month is enough for her to eat and drink, and if she's lucky, she might even have some left. But if she wants to earn more, he says he'll need to see her ability. Shu Jungyang immediately steps in, asking if something is wrong with Sun Feng's brain. He says he earns hundreds a month, so this 5-cent offer is nothing. Then he thanks Sun Feng for his kind gesture, but says they still have matters to settle and will be leaving. Jo-man loses her temper and calls Baola an ungrateful wretch, asking if she thinks she's too good for the job. Then she turns, her anger toward Shu, asking who he thinks he is and whether he just made up the claim about earning hundreds a month on the spot. She then orders Baola to kneel in front of her and shout, "I am scum 100 times. Only then will she let Baola go. Otherwise, Jo-man guarantees that Baola will never find a single job again." Our boy looks back coldly and asks if Sun Feng is just going to let her bully others. Sun Feng responds with a disgusting smile, saying that if Baola becomes his woman, she will have everything she ever wants. Then he takes it even further, saying that after all, she is a woman, and all she has to do is lie in bed and obey. If she does that, he can satisfy her every wish. That was the final straw. Our boy's expression darkens. He says he doesn't. Like people who do whatever they want, so he has decided to teach Jo-man a little lesson. Then he takes out his phone and makes a call, calmly saying that those who mess around with his fiancée should pay the price.